Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and thanks for being here again. If you guys are doing a binge listen because you just heard about the podcast, kudos to you. If you've done a binge listen, kudos to you. I appreciate it. It's fun to hear that. And then I think, man, I might get sick of listening to me for that many hours. Either way, I appreciate the fact that you are here. Please let us know if you are enjoying the podcast by leaving a review. We do read those reviews. One of my staff reads them, and so we appreciate them. We appreciate the feedback. If you guys need anything or you have ideas or thoughts of what you would like for me to talk about in a podcast, please email me at maryjo@withoutthebank.com. And we will look at those. All that stuff gets passed to me. I see everything that comes in. So it's not like I have this huge, massive organization and I am disconnected from it. And I think that some people feel like that's what happens, but that is not what happens. I am the agent and I have 2 staff that help me. So I hear about it all, you guys. We are definitely connected. All right, let's talk about inflation and the US dollar crashing and what is going to happen to the life insurance companies and what's going to happen in the world. Now, I don't want to say that we are a doomsdayer because there are a lot of people out there legitimately concerned about what happens when the US dollar crashes. And that question has been asked to me for the last 11 years that I have been teaching the infinite banking concept. There are people out there that are wondering, should I be buying gold? Should I be buying silver? Ammo, guns, preppers, right? We've got the prepper people that have the dried food and they're ready for the end of times. Is that a financial concern? Is it a political concern? Is it both? And everybody has their own answer to it. But I really wanted to do this podcast based on that question because I get it all the time. Mary Jo, if the US dollar falls, why would I want to put my money into a whole life insurance policy? Shouldn't I be buying gold and silver? Shouldn't I be buying real estate? Well, sure. You can buy gold and silver and real estate, right? I do. So what if the dollar doesn't fall? You're going to say, so the people that asked me this, I can only think back to the people that asked me this 11 years ago and said, Mary Jo, I'm not going to put my money there because the US currency is going to end up like Zimbabwe. And I have a Zimbabwe $10 million bill. I think it's 10 million. That bought like a loaf of bread, right? Because their currency completely fell. And it's absolutely worthless. And so I have that from 11 years ago, and it was a justifiable question. But here we are, 11 years later, that individual was pretty certain the US dollar was falling then. Here we are 11 years later, and guess what? We're still using the US dollar. And so if you are concerned, the life insurance, if you're going to put money into a life insurance policy, why not borrow against it to buy your gold, silver, ammo, guns, and prepping material, your real estate? And if the dollar does not fall, you still have the dividends, you still have your money compounding in the policy, right? But if gold is so awesome, why do you want my worthless dollar in exchange for your gold? I did not ask, that's not my question. That is Nelson's question. That's what he told me one day. Mary Jo, If gold is the be all, why do you want my worthless fiat dollar in exchange for your gold? Why is Bitcoin better than the US dollar? Now, I don't study Bitcoin. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it because I don't know anything about it. But from an outsider's perspective of Bitcoin, the US dollar is called fiat money because it's not backed by anything. It's fake money. It's just numbers on a ledger. Bitcoin is not backed by anything. It's just cyber currency. It's just numbers created by a computer. But I'm supposed to buy Bitcoin with my fiat dollar because that fiat dollar is better? That's fake money too, backed by nothing. It's just air. What makes that fiat dollar better than my fiat dollar? Because the guy that is managing Bitcoin is more honest than the Federal Reserve? The main medium of exchange on a global look is the US dollar. And so if the US dollar is to crash and we don't have US dollars anymore and it gets replaced with another currency, what happens to the life insurance policy? Well, the value inside the policy is just going to be the value of the new money. If you had money in a savings account, the same thing would happen. It would just be worth what? The new currency value. If you have money in the market, what happens? Exact same thing. It's worth the new value. So you're asking the question of what happens with the insurance company while you're still using US dollars to buy the real estate that you're buying. Well, what's going to happen to your real estate? If the US dollar collapses, are you going to be selling real estate? Are you going to be, let's say that you have rental properties. Are you going to rent them with the same US dollar? No, right? The rental value might go down to meet the new currency. The insurance companies are, and I've talked to the insurance companies and they honestly don't, do they think about it? Do they watch this? Yes. Is it their biggest concern? No. Because there are other things that need to be a concern. And the comment that I've gotten from the insurance companies is, and this is probably the best comment that I've heard, if you want us to mitigate the risk for a dollar falling, then you also can't have your money liquid because we have to put more of that money at risk. So if you want the guarantees and you want liquidity of the money, we can't be quite as risky to offset what would happen if a dollar fell, right? Because we would probably have to buy more real estate in our portfolio. I'm just guessing. They didn't say this. But how do you control that? Okay, we buy more real estate. Well, real estate's not liquid. So if real estate's not liquid and it can be a little bit riskier than bonds, or if we put it into gold and that's not as liquid as bonds, then what? We have to take something away from you. So the concern about the dollar falling and hyperinflation, I get it. I 100% understand. I listen to those people. I am in that world a little bit myself. But I also have to ask myself, what if it doesn't? Can I still put the money in the policy, borrow against the policy, buy the land, buy the real estate, buy the equipment, and I still have the liquidity of it, right? I still have the guarantees. I still have the everything else. Don't underestimate the insurance companies. You guys, they've been around 140 plus years. These companies are older than the Federal Reserve. They understand money. Right now, interest rates are so low. The concern there is, what do we do going forward to continue to offer the guarantees that we have? And that is why it's so important to make sure that your insurance company is a good company, that they're looking at that they're not being overly risky. I don't like insurance companies that are risky. I would much rather they be conservative so that if something like the dollar falling happens, they were looking at that. And no, that's there. It's there. It's in their head. They know it. They're hearing it. They're on the front lines every day with the financial world of what's going on. They're not you and I sitting in our house listening to the news. That's not how they work. They're in the trenches. They understand. But explain to me this. If the dollar falls and everybody's using the dollar, then what? Why are you holding the insurance company to a different standard than your savings account and your IRAs and stock companies? Are you asking them where they're going to be when the dollar falls? If you have land and you want to sell that land when the dollar falls, is that land going to be worth the same amount of money or worth what the new currency is worth? We have to think about those things. And I just think I'm going to bet both sides. If the dollar falls, great. I've got the real estate that I bought. I have the equipment. You've got the cattle, right? You've got those things that you wanted for value because there's something you can trade. But if the dollar doesn't fall, I still have the money in my policy earning compound interest and dividends. I have the best of both worlds. Because if I would have had that money in a savings account, I would have had the money there, or I would have had the land, the cattle, the equipment, whatever. Now I have both. And if you want to diversify, great. Borrow against a policy and buy some gold and pay it back. Borrow against a policy, buy the land. It's an and asset. Remember that. It's an and asset. You can put the money there and do things with it. It's not an or asset. You put it in savings or you use it. You put it in an investment or you use it. That's not how it works. It's an and asset. So why not have the best of both worlds? And if you are saying, well, I don't get all my money right away, you're thinking short term. That's a thought process that's broken, and you need to go back to Nelson's book and you need to reread it. Or you need to read it for the first time if you've not read it. This is long-term thinking. This is not a short-term game. This is long-term thought process. We are planning to put our money here for a long time. If you're thinking that this currency is going to fall in the next 5 years, then no, life insurance might not be your game. But when I got into this industry 11 years ago, everybody said the currency was falling. Everybody said the currency was going to fall 100 years ago, or 104 now, I think, years ago when the Federal Reserve started. And then we got rid of the gold standard, right? Everybody said that it was going to fall then, and we're still here. Am I going to pay attention to it? Yes. Am I going to bet my last fiat dollar on it? No. I'm going to play the best of both worlds. And I'm going to leverage myself in case it doesn't happen. And I have a lot of people too that are saying, well, the dollar's going to fall and I don't trust the banks. So I'm taking my money out of the bank and putting it in my mattress. Good for you. If the dollar crashes and you have a bunch of money in your mattress that's worth nothing, what did that help? What did that help to have all your money sitting in your mattress when the dollar collapses? Is it better to be putting that money into real estate, gold, silver, guns, ammo, food? Possibly. If you want to diversify. Use the policy to do so and have the best of both worlds. The moral of the story is the insurance company knows about it. They're hearing about it. Not something necessarily that they're planning for because they don't foresee it happening. Is every company the same? They're all putting their money in the same spots. Every last one of them. They're all doing the same thing. There's only so many places that people can put their money to invest. And if they're all doing the same thing, one company is not going to be any different than the other. It's just who's taking more risk. And do you want liquidity and control of your money? Or would you rather have a different fiat dollar, Bitcoin? Would you rather have gold, which has a different value every day, right? It's no different than the dollar in an essence of value. The value goes up, the value goes down. I don't know that there is a true answer to this question. I absolutely 100% understand the concern. We cannot continue to print money in this country and not have some sort of massive inflation. We cannot continue to do that. But can we protect ourselves and use a policy at the same time? Absolutely. Because I'm not going to give up the opportunity to have the compound interest and dividends when I can still have my land, cattle, equipment, rental properties, whatever it is that you want to do. I feel like I didn't ever truly answer the question. And even when I was talking to my insurance companies, the question didn't get answered from them either. And it was frustrating. So as I end this, I can understand maybe your frustration, but we have to be aware of the fact that everything is going to collapse around us. And it's not going to just be the life insurance company. And so if you want to buy the land and the guns and the ammo and the gold and the silver, then go do it. And if you want to think short term, infinite banking is not the thing that you're going to want to be looking at anyway, because it's a long-term look. We've got policies that go till you're 121 years old. This is long-term. We're thinking generations. We're not thinking 5 years. If you're thinking 5 years, this is not the tool for you in either scenario. If the dollar is here or if the dollar is not here, this is not something that you're most likely going to be happy with. This is a long-term thought process. So I hope that wasn't frustrating and more annoying that there's not an exact answer, but I'm not going to pretend to have an answer because I don't have an answer. I'm not going to BS you and tell you that, oh yeah, everything's going to be great. I don't know. I don't know any more than anybody else knows. I know that I'm listening to it. I know that it's out there. I know that I've got gold, silver, guns, ammo, like land. I know that I'm preparing for those things, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you and fill you full of some BS just so that you call and buy a policy. No, that's not going to happen. Everything is Bitcoin's fiat, US dollars fiat. Who's backed by anything? I don't know. From where we stand today, it looks awful. But you go back 100 years and it looked just as awful to them at that point, right? How long can we sustain? That I am not the expert on. Okay, I hope that did not leave you super frustrated, because I know I was frustrated when I did not get the answers that I was looking for, but we kind of have to think about it in that long-term view. If you guys have other questions, other concerns, other things that you want to hear me talk about, please let me know. MaryJo@withoutthebank.com. If you've not gotten the book yet, if you've not gotten Nelson's book yet, you can get that on farmingwithoutthebank.com. Go to the store and you can get them in a bundle. But please do read at least mine, and Nelson's is a must as well. You really should read his as well. Okay, let me know and I'll catch you on the next podcast. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.